Today's case is about the murder of Bobby Franks, and while he is today's victim, this episode is geared towards his killers Leopold and Loeb. These two wise guys couldn't leave well enough alone and would end up doing something terrible. Okay, let's go. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's introduce you to Bobby Franks, who was born in Chicago, Illinois on September 19, 1909. He was the youngest of three. His sister Josephine was born in 1906, and his brother Jack was born in 1908. He was from a wealthy family, though it wasn't always like that. His father, Jacob Franks, was born in London in 1855, immigrating to the U.S. when he was just two.
Two. What a shit time to live in England.
Well, I guess they left though, didn't they?
1800s, fuck that.
Yeah. When he got older, he had a pawn shop before getting into the loan business, and eventually gained his wealth by his involvement in real estate. Apparently, at some point, he also became the president of some watch company thing.
Alright, calm down.
I don't care.
Haven't got time for it.
That was a dad joke. That was so bad. I can't believe you did that to me. Anyway, today's case is not about his dad, so let's talk about his mother, Flora, who was born in Chicago in 1876. Flora, the explorer. Well, she was a big Jew.
Oh.
Until she got married, and then she converted to Christianity, and she actually stayed a Christian for the rest of her life.
Oh, that's big.
I was gonna say so was Flora, but she wasn't. Unfortunately, Bobby would only make it to 14 years of age. So naturally, the information on his life is fairly limited.
Oh, so wait, the victim's 14. Shit. That was the
Shit.
brain working. Oh, that's unfortunate, isn't it? 14.
14 years old? Just a little baby, really. What we know is that he was small for his age, and he was a bit cheeky, being referred to as a smart aleck. However, this was all in jest. He was loved by his family, and he loved them right back.
Bless his little soul.
He went to a private Harvard school for boys, played tennis, and was in the debate club, even debating against capital punishment, which strangely enough is a debate that he actually had 2 weeks prior to him dying.
Oh.
I wonder if he would have changed his mind.
Ooh.
Now, let's meet Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Only neither of them were actually dumb, which is a bit of a surprise. You surprised?
Yeah, that's the look of me face. Shock.
Horror.
What? Did they look like Tweedledee and Tweedledum? Or they just are Tweedledee and Tweedledum? Because they're fuckheads.
The second part you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuckheads.
They're fucking fuckheads, you fucking
Are they-
white dog.
Are they fuckheads? Give me a ciggy cat. Ciggy bop bird, ciggy bop bird. Ciggy bop bird, ciggy bop bird. We're shocking together. Stop it. Keep going.
Do I stop it or keep going?
Keep going. Ciggy bop bird, ciggy bop bird.
Nathan Leopold Jr. He was born in Chicago on November 19th, 1904. His family were German Jewish immigrants, and Leopold was a child prodigy. Do you know what that means? No.
No, I was just thinking about the German Jewish creating a prodigy. I'm like, oh, well.
This was before Nazi Germany.
That's awesome.
This was earlier. Yeah. Leopold was a child prodigy. That just means that he was really talented in some way, shape, or form.
Super smart.
Super smart. I am really no boy smart. According to reports, he spoke his first word at 4 months old.
Sit down. Fucking hell, 4 months. Fuck off, you prodigy.
Yeah, you prodigy. He studied 13 languages and spoke 5 of them fluently, so he was a polyglot. Polyglot. Is that glottage I see, or are you just happy to see me?
Polly's a bit glotty.
Polly want a glotty.
I don't like that.
And he even gained national recognition as an ornithologist.
Fuck off. Sit down.
Yeah.
Give some to the others.
Can you tell me what an ornithologist is?
No.
He was into birds.
I was told as 30s.
He would end up completing his undergraduate degree at the University of Chicago with Phi Beta Kappa honors. Now that means sweet Fanny Adams to us here in Australia, but it must mean something big over there.
Sounds important.
Do you know, it's actually, I believe, it is the oldest academic honor in society in the United States.
That's crazy.
He was planning on taking a trip to Europe before returning to study at Harvard Law School.
This fucking guy.
This fucking guy. No, he may have had his stuff sorted out academically, but the same could not be said in the looks department.
Oh no.
This little bug-eyed bitch was sensitive.
You can't say bug-eyed bitch and not expect me to fucking laugh. It hit differently in the accent as well.
This little bug-eyed bitch was sensitive about his appearance and his stature, and some say that this is why he focused so much on his education. If you can't be pretty, at least be smart.
Yeah, bug-eyed bitch.
Bug-eyed bitch.
Bug-eyed bitch.
This little fucking bug-eyed bitch. This fucking dumpster juice bum. Are you right? Are you having a moment to yourself? Are you good? Do I need to call someone?
Do I need to call someone?
You're on one.
Oh.
Unlike Leopold, his partner in crime was referred to as attractive. I don't want to burst your bubble, but he wasn't.
Okay, was he attractive?
No. Absolutely not. Richard Loeb. That's right. Dick Loeb.
Oh, I didn't even put that together. Dick Loeb.
Dick Loeb was born in Chicago on June 11th, 1905, the son of a wealthy lawyer, and was also remarkably intelligent, though his accolades do not match up to Leopold's. In saying that, I can't imagine that many would. He loved to read, especially on history. What a riot. He also enjoyed crime stories.
Oh?
Do you want a Scooby snack? Are you alright? At 12, he entered an innovative university high school. He completed his high school education in just 2 years.
Brag about it.
I know, that's what I said. Do you know he would become the youngest person, I believe at the time at least, to graduate high school, and he was only 17? What the fuck? And after graduating, he enrolled in the University of Chicago Law School. But he wasn't as much of a stick in the mud as Leopold. He liked to socialize, he liked to play tennis, and read detective novels. I'm telling you, these guys, they're a real hoot.
He liked to play tennis while reading novels.
Now, these two knew each other at school, but they never really hung out. At least not until the mid-1920s when they discovered their mutual interest in crime.
Right.
Leopold took a particular shining to Friedrich Nietzsche and his concept of Übermenschen, or supermen. Now, I will ask that you abscond yourself of the idea of this being a superhero. This was more along the lines of a man who had transcended, a man who possessed extraordinary and unusual capabilities, a man whose superior intellect allowed him to rise above the laws and rules that applied to unimportant and average people.
Right. Don't be adding that to the mix.
Leopold believed that he and his chum Loeb were such beings. Rules simply didn't apply to them, and they are not liable for anything they do.
I know exactly where this is going. Fuck me.
It's going down. So, with this now their sword and shield, Pokemon reference, these boys took the vandalism and petty theft. They even broke into a frat house, stole pen knives, a camera, and a typewriter that they would later use to write a ransom note.
Oh, these fucking dum-dums.
They would even dabble with arson along with other things because now they're getting braver. Only they weren't getting the media coverage that they wanted, and they felt they needed to escalate. And to get the self-appointed titles that they so desired to be recognized as, they needed to do something sensational. They needed to commit the perfect crime.
But like, what did they think was going to happen? They get the attention? You guys are above the law.
Well, they wanted the attention as far as the details, but not their names and stuff. Like, oh, this, this shit happened at this time.
Oh, we did that.
And they could get bragging rights like, we did this thing.
Oy, oy, oy.
boys. It was 1923 when the pair would start sculpting their master plan, working on it for 7 months before they settled on what they thought was going to put them on the map. They planned out everything from the age range they were looking for, how they would abduct him, how they were going to kill him, what they would use and where they would buy it to cover their tracks, and where they would dump the body. They devised a plan to make it look like a ransom gone wrong while still collecting the bounty.
No.
Oi, nori.
Oi, no. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Wait, that's a bit of an escalation. Murder.
Yeah,
Because they thought they're so smart that, like, everyone else was just...
well, the Uber mentioned thing.
Yeah.
But then it's also like, are these two boys kind of on a gap year? Are they bored? So they gotta kind of find something fun to do? Fun for them? I don't know.
Never put murder on the list of fun, but yes.
So, all that was left to do now was find the victim. And they didn't really have to look very far. See, Bobby was Loeb's second cousin who lived across the road from him.
Fuck off.
I will not.
My cousin who lives across the road. Fuck me. This case is pissing me off already. You said it wouldn't be bad.
I said
well, you're annoying me. These fucking dum-dums.
We could always go back to someone trying to kill someone 10 different ways. That's what I think about. Right? Okay. Okay.
Alright. I'm getting angry. Continue.
On the afternoon of May 21st, 1924, they would put everything into motion. First, Leopold rented a car under the alias Morton D. Ballard.
You rented a car to kill your cousin who lives across the road. Continue.
Leopold is not the cousin, Loeb is.
Fucking continue, sorry.
And then they used it to find Bobby while he was walking home from school.
Oh, okay, I see now why they need a car.
They offered him a ride, and he declined because his house was only 2 blocks away. Loeb started talking tennis. Specifically, he wanted to talk about a racket that he had been using, so he ended up getting in the car. Leopold was driving, and Loeb was in the back seat, so Bobby got in the front passenger side. Now, shortly after getting in the car, Loeb pulled out a chisel, the planned murder weapon of choice, and whumped Bobby in the back of the head several times before dragging him over the back seat and gagging him. And Bobby couldn't survive these injuries, and he died.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god.
Oh, you fucking god?
With a fucking chisel?
After the deed was done, Loeb stashed the body on the floor of the car so he was out of sight, and Leopold drove to Wolf Haven in Hammond, Indiana, which is about 25 miles away. That's 40 kilometers.
So how much? What?
40 kilometers.
Oh shit.
For anyone else outside of the US.
Everyone else bar the US.
Everyone knows what 40 kilometers
Yeah.
are. If it makes you feel any better, I can't do the math either. And also for anyone from the US who is actually listening, we do love you. You go all right.
You were right.
Where they predetermined they would leave him, waiting until the sun went down before putting his body in a culvert near the Pennsylvania Railroad. They had removed his clothes and poured hydraulic acid on his face and on his genitals. This was to obscure his identity as much as possible. But the genitals part to me was a little bit weird, but apparently this was because he was circumcised. Now I had to do some research on this because I just thought in general most Americans were circumcised. Turns out that this wasn't actually mainstream until the 1950s, so before then it wasn't super common.
Because what the fuck are you pouring over his genitals? It's 14, no one knows what he looks like. That's fucked.
Upon their return to Chicago, word had already been sent out that Bobby was missing, and just like clockwork, they put the next phase into motion. Leopold calling Bobby's mother, pretending to be a man named George Johnson, and he told her that her son had been kidnapped.
How fucked in the head do you have to be?
He told her that instructions for delivering the ransom would follow, and they used the typewriter that they stole from the frat house to write the following ransom note that they would later send to Frank's household. And it read, "Dear Sir, proceed immediately to the back of the track. Have your package ready. Look for the first large red brick factory situated immediately adjoining the tracks on the east. A large black water tower with the words champion written on it. Wait until you have completely passed the south end of the factory. Count 5 very rapidly and then immediately throw the package out as far east as you can. Remember, this is your only chance to recover your son. Yours truly, George Johnson."
What the fuck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is so fucked. Like doing a ransom note when you...
Now, from all the records that I could see, all of this happened the same evening. So they killed them, made the phone call. After they got off the phone, they wrote the ransom note. Then they posted it. And the letter would arrive the following day. And it must have been by owl.
Yeah.
Because that's very quick.
Super quick.
Then Leopold would call the Franks household again, dictating the instructions on the ransom note. They were offered the address of the store where they were to receive extra instructions. Only the person on the other end of the phone forgot the address details almost immediately because they were so nervous. But before the ruse went any further, there was a hiccup in their plan as Bobby's body was found.
Oh, shit. But didn't they put it in like an area?
It was like in a culvert right by a road. Like it's not...
Dum-dums.
So like,
yeah,
if someone was just walking there for whatever reason, they probably would have seen it, you know?
No.
Now, when Leopold and Loeb heard the news, they destroyed the typewriter and the lap blanket that they had used to move Bobby's body, and they resumed their normal lives. Now, a lap blanket, what the fuck is that? Well, I was gonna look it up, and I didn't. But then I just think lap blanket is probably like a blanket that most cars came with to put on your lap if you got cold when you're in the car.
I want a lap blanket.
Lap blanket. Well, you can have one.
Um,
It's called a gunt.
It's me.
I have one too.
Why'd they destroy the typewriter?
Well, you can forensically test typewriters to see,
Oh.
because some of them are not made the same. So some of them might have an E that sits like a millimeter lower. So you can do certain forensic testing on them to see if it was written by that thing.
Alright.
Isn't it crazy? The Chicago police started an investigation offering rewards for information, and Loeb was content on pretending that nothing had happened, but Leopold, he was something special. Leopold would engage in conversations with the police and reporters frequently, offering his theories on what he thought had happened to anyone with working ears.
Fucking dickhead. The fuck?
Just you wait, sunshine. The smug little prick even told the detective, if I were to murder anybody, it would be just such a cocky little son of a bitch as Bobby Franks.
What? Excuse me, sir. No one asked if you were to murder anyone.
Yes, like I didn't do it, but if I did, it would be someone like him. You know, the one that's turned up dead.
The fuck? Alright.
During a search of the crime scene, the police would find a pair of prescription glasses near Bobby's body. Only they didn't belong to Bobby. At first glance, these frames and the prescription lenses were a dime a dozen. So good luck trying to find out who they belonged to, right? They weren't inscribed, nothing like that.
Yeah. Go on.
But the hinges on the frames, they were something special. They were custom. So custom that only 3 people in Chicago owned the pair.
Fuck off.
And do you want to know who one of those 3 people were?
Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
Nathan fucking Leopold.
Fucking dum-dum. What a fucking idiot.
The police asked him how the glasses ended up at the crime scene, so he told them that they must have fallen out when I was bird watching last weekend,
In the same spot.
40 kilometers away.
Oh, fucking dickhead.
He's a little creep bird watching. Calm down, pervert. Listen, if you lost your seeing eyeglasses, you would know. Oh, that's where they were.
How'd you leave?
Yeah, how'd you drive? What,
Yeah.
like...
Oh no, not my glasses.
I know. Now, because of this, the gruesome twosome would be formally summoned for questioning on May 29th. They were asked about the night of the murder, but don't worry, they already had a half-cooked alibi planned. Apparently, that evening, they picked up a couple of broads in Leopold's car and dropped them off near a golf course sometime later in the evening. Obviously, the cops wanted to know the names of these ladies. Conveniently, the boys could not remember their last names.
Oh, so convenient.
Their story, however, would fall apart, especially after the police went to Leopold's chauffeur to corroborate the story because they were rich, they had drivers. But the car in question was in repairs that evening. And they even spoke to the chauffeur's wife, and she also confirmed that it was locked up in the garage.
Right-row.
It was out of commission for the whole evening.
Dum-dum.
Dum dum, we want gum gum. The police would also discover the typewriter in Jackson Park Lagoon the following month. This was after kind of everything happened anyway, but they still found it. Now, the two were in it deep. And what normally happens when there is more than one perp?
Yeah.
I'm asking what normally happens when there's more than one perp?
I'm like, yeah?
You're like, yeah.
Yeah. They blame one another. Got it.
The double cross. Loeb ratted on Leopold and blamed him for the whole thing, from the planning of the murder, claiming that he, Loeb, was the one driving that day. And Leopold followed suit and told his side of the story, which was the same as Loeb's, but with the roles reversed. However, apparently there was one eyewitness who saw things from afar, and he corroborated Loeb's story of Loeb driving and not Leopold.
Ruh-roh.
So who's the liar?
Drama.
Oh my god, it's a drama.
Where's drama?
It doesn't help the case that Leopold would talk about pleading with Loeb before he died to tell the truth and take ownership of the murder. As in, it's like he's telling the story after the other one's dead, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
who are you gonna believe? The one who can talk,
Yeah.
I guess. The trial would take place at the Chicago Cook County Criminal Court. Say that 10 times, please. Chicago, count the C's, the words that start with C. Chicago Cook County Criminal Court.
Chicago Cook County Criminal Court. Chicago Cook. Yeah.
Chicago.
Chicago Cook County.
Yes.
Yes, good job.
Chicago Cook County Criminal Court.
Can too many C's count?
2 minutes. Yeah, the Chicago Cook County Criminal Court, cunt. That's where I'm going.
That's some fucking goal.
Fucking crook. Now, this trial would last for 32 days. Loeb's family paid for the best defense lawyer in Chicago at the time, costing them a whopping $70,000, which would be more than $1.2 million today.
Shit.
I don't think they thought they could get the boys out of hot water, but the defense lawyer was very staunchly against capital punishment, so I think it was at least a way to keep them out of the electric chair. Can you guess what they tried?
Insanity.
Insanity. Finish strong, it can't go on. Insanity. They tried the not guilty by reasons of insanity play, but would change that to not guilty in hopes to avoid being put to death, and it worked. Side note, apparently Leopold had been sexually abused by one of his governesses.
Eh?
A lady.
His what? His what?
A governess. Have you never heard of a governess?
Governess. Is that like the lady?
Like a nanny.
Yeah. Like lady of the manor that looks after the manor.
Governess? She's just a governess, so she's hired to basically,
Be the bitch of the house.
well, educate him in-house when he needs it,
Oh.
to make sure he's cared for and fed and dressed and all that kind of stuff. The two were charged with kidnap and murder and were sentenced to life plus 99 years imprisonment on September 10th, 1924 in Joliet Prison. It would also come out later in life by way of letter penned by Leopold himself that he and Loeb had been fucking.
What? What?
Apparently, they had had a homosexual affair.
Oh no.
Naughty boy.
What a naughty boy.
You a naughty kitty.
Alright.
And they were originally put into the same prison, but then Leopold was moved to Stateville Penn. In 1931, and Loeb would end up going there too, but like a little bit later. Leopold would live up to the ripe old age of 66, that's not very old, dying on August 29th, 1971. Loeb, not that long as it would turn out.
Oh.
Because they would have been about, when the murder happened, they were 19 and 18 respectively. Loeb was accused of being a sex pest in prison and would be murdered in the showers in 1936. He was only 30 years old. He would have more than 50 lacerations all over him, including his throat being slit from behind.
Shit.
Apparently, there's some stories about it being that he tried it on with the wrong one. That person didn't like it and they killed him, but it turned out later that that person that this story was about was actually caught in the act of fucking another prisoner, so he was gay anyway. It was a big mess.
Unlucky.
Anyway, so the claims of his sexual proclivities in prison could be true, but it could also have just been created by the prison staff because the murder could have actually been an inside job.
Ooh.
Because remember, this is like the 1930s and they're talking about homosexuals in prison. It's just unnatural.
Yeah.
That's not how I actually feel, just so you know. The trial and time in jail are more detailed and are a really good read, so I suggest checking those out if you can, or if you are inclined to do so. But that pretty much brings us to the end of today's episode.
Shit. Well, that was a fucking wild ride. Yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please make sure that you give us a follow. Follow us on all of our social media. Find it on Linktree/Wine Time Mysteries. And we will catch you on the flip.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck me.
Oh, fuck.